Hi folks, in this video we're going to be demonstrating the SoaringTortoise Solitaire 4-watt All Tube Guitar Amp. It was made from an Old Airline tabletop tube radio. So it was about a circa 1960 airline radio. It was actually AM FM, pretty high dollar for the time. And I have converted it into a circa 1960 airline Montgomery Ward's guitar amplifier. I believe I followed the model 8205 schematic. I might be wrong. Correct me if I am. It contains a 6V6 power tube, a 6AU6 pentode preamp tube, and a 6X5 GT tube rectifier. So it has a volume control here, which is also the power switch, so we're going to switch it on. This is tone, and I left the tuner intact here, tuner dial, so you can still spin it and set it to your favorite station. I'm going to set it down here on the classical end of the dial. Inside we have the twin speaker from this one, exactly the same, in the same mint condition, a Jensen DPL Nico 5 6-inch concert speaker. I got a pair out of an old organ. So, and oddly enough, we have a date which would indicate it was probably from around 1960, which was when the radio was manufactured as well. So let's give it a listen. And in today's, before I start, I will mention it also has a speaker out, which disconnects the internal speaker, and then you can hook it to any 4 or 8 ohm cab, and we're going to do that a little later in the video. So let's give it a listen. I thought it would be appropriate for today's video if we used a circa 1960 guitar. So we have a Gibson ES330T, circa 1960. And back to the amp. We're going to give it a little demonstration. So I think I'll turn the amp up about a third of the way, perhaps. Clean tones. It doesn't stay clean very long. It does have the tiny speaker, and it is just a low watt amp. So here we go. Okay, enough of this classical crap. Let's move it up into the country part of the dial here. Goose the volume a little bit. Maybe give it, let's see, yeah, we're about 80% on the tone control. Some blues or something on here. Turn it up to this end of the dial. Give it a little more volume. Blues is better louder. Now this is when it starts to break up a little bit. want to push the speaker too hard, but I'm going to crank it to maybe, I don't know, between half and 3/4. This is actually all the way right here, what do you know? So I'm going to crank the tone all the way. This is just an old original P90 in it, so. Alright, enough of that. I'm going to take the opportunity now to turn it off and hook up a 12-inch speaker in a closed back cabinet and give you an idea what it sounds like with a real speaker, I guess, although that's not a bad little speaker. So here we go. We've got an old Wilder Alnico 12-inch speaker, and it's in a movie projector cabinet, which we can configure however we want. Closed or open. We're gonna turn that around, and we're gonna be listening through this. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're using the mics on the camera instead of. I didn't want to put a mic in front of the little radio here, so it's just the internal mics on a Nikon V1. I'm gonna flip the amp around here as best I can and plug in to the back here that speaker. So now we've disconnected the internal speaker and we're connected to the 12-inch speaker. I'm going to turn it back on, and we'll let you hear how that sounds. We've got the guitar the same way. We haven't played with the volume or anything on it. So here we go. Let it warm up a little. I'm going to roll the tone back a little bit and maybe change the channel up here, tab it down more. Okay, so this is probably where we started originally, about a third of the way, maybe a little more. Rock and roll into the dial. Solitaire 4-watt guitar amp, all tube and all good. So thanks for watching. Pretty good for an old radio.